Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my latest build, the Stackhouse. I'll talk a little more about why it's called that in a minute, when I'm no doubt placing loads of the same block, but let's get on to the dimensions of the frame. The small module, 16 by 16 by 6. The medium module, 18 by 18 by 8. The large module, 20 by 20 by 11. And they all overlap by one block, so if you want to build it yourself, please bear that in mind. Also, don't use compressed ice, otherwise your windows will not be windows. They'll just be sort of funny coloured walls that melt on you. But anyway, oh yes, texture pack. Flows HD this time. I have eschewed Modern HD. I have defected to Flows HD for at least this build and one other, which I'm going to keep my lips sealed on. Zip. You will not know about that for quite some time, because the only spoiler I'm giving, it's quite large. Anyway, what am I doing here? I am placing quartz down one block in from the outer edge of the medium module, and this will be where the ice will sit. Now, the ice is a purely design-based decision. It's not practical at all, because the stuff melts when you place lights anywhere near it. If there's a way around this, please let me know. But the ice is a purely artistic design decision because I wanted a clean, smooth surface that was blue, and in this texture pack, nothing else offers that, except maybe the glass panes, but I wanted slightly more depth to the building, so glass panes were out immediately. In fact, I don't think the glass panes do offer that, but never mind. We are using ice because it looks good. That's the bottom line. Adding more acacia wood in here. The acacia wood will form a sort of shell around the middle module. The middle module will be white quartz inside, but it'll have this wooden cladding shell on the outside. This was done just to make the building look slightly more interesting. Basically, not 3 white cubes, one slightly bigger than the other. And I've got to say, it does not look bad. I am quite proud of the results of that, actually. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to fill in the area above the ice. I'm going to say glass. I've got to stop myself saying glass. But anyway, the area above the ice will be filled with quartz, because I want a sort of quartz frame around the ice, because it looks nice and it gives the building more depth. I hate using that word, but it's the best way to describe it, I think. See? Does not look bad at all. So we can move on to the large module. Now, if you want to build this for yourself, you're more than welcome. The floor is 4 blocks up from the base, so 5 up. It's confusing because the whole build is sunk by 1 block, but it is, if you count 4 up from the floor and mark off the corners like this, that is the floor. You can change it if you want. You can make it higher, you can make it shorter, but this is just what I've chosen to do because it's what I'm used to. I have got a sore throat, slightly, mainly because of all the failed takes I did of this recording beforehand, also because I may be slightly ill. I also have a mouth ulcer as well, but you didn't want to know that. But back to the build. We're going to be doing the same thing in the small module that we did in the medium module with the glass. One back with a quartz block frame. I need to belch. Hold on. Pardon me. Anyway, let's carry on. So while I'm busy placing ice and quartz, as you've seen me done before, I'm going to briefly talk about why it's called a stack house. Because initially it appears that there is no stacking in it at all, but it's actually inspired by those tables you get, where there's one large table, one medium table, and one small table, and they all sit on top of each other. But the medium table slides under the large, and the small obviously slides under the medium, and you can slide out whichever table you want. And the design of this house is based on having all the tables sort of slided out, if that's the best way I can describe it. So one fits into the other, fits into the other. Yeah, like that. That's a pretty good illustration of what it looks like, actually. So now that I've done that, I can go about confusing myself with the design of the small module. I'm trying to mirror the middle module here by making the sort of edges around the ice 2 blocks thick. It worked for the vertical, but for the horizontal it made the window look slightly too small, and it was all the wrong proportions. In retrospect, I realised I could have used slabs here, but the lighting errors would have been horrendous, and I've got to think about that this time, because I've checked shaders do work and run at 60 FPS on this world, so I'll be using them in the end. Phew. Right, what am I doing now? Admiring my handiwork, it seems. This is a post-recording, by the way, in case you haven't already figured out. I decided to do post-recording again, just simply because my live recordings have been, let's say, difficult for me in the past, and I don't want to do too much editing. Again, framing the ice, just to make it look good. Not much I can say about that, really, other than that I'm doing it. Of course, you don't want this to go on forever, so I shall take a small break here and magically make more glass appear. Ta-da! More glass has appeared. It's not glass, obviously, it's ice, but we're going to refer to it as glass because that's what it is essentially representing in this structure. Now then, the corners, I decided to place more quartz in them just because it looked kind of silly. So it's like it's a 2x2 square in each corner. But now we are working on the large module. This barrier across the front not only defines the floor, but also defines where a balcony is going. And here you see me placing 5 blocks and then another 2. Oh, I don't place the 2 at this point. This is when post-commentary is at its finest, because you forget what you've done. But this marks a balcony. Except it doesn't, because the balcony gets deleted later because it looks stupid. It basically made the building look like it had huge ears. So, yeah, it wasn't exactly desirable. Not that there's anything wrong with huge ears, it just didn't look right on this build. I'm digging myself a hole. I will stop. More glass placement. Well, ice placement. It's a shame I recorded so much glass placement because I have absolutely nothing to say about it, other than the fact that you're going to need a dividing layer on the cube, because there is a second floor. There has to be, otherwise there's not enough space for people to actually live in this house. Yes, of course, it's like a 2-person house or 1-bedroom house, but it seems like a bit of a waste of all that space. Anyway, I'm rambling. I have a good mind to speed up this footage, actually. But I think it's a bit late for that, because the editing is pretty much done on the actual episode. So what you see me doing here is faffing around with quartz and ice, making terrible decisions, like that balcony. So while we're watching me place ice, how's everyone been? Had a good day? Had a bad day? Had a mediocre day? I've had a mediocre day, really. I was ill yesterday, so I think I might be back to do something else. Oh, yes, I am doing something else. The corners, the design has changed. It's now 2x2 squares in the corner, just because the ice sort of going into the corner makes it look a bit silly, and also kind of unrealistic as well. But yeah, that's that. Oh my goodness, the building is developing stripes. This is because the large module seemed like a huge white expanse, and it was kind of empty, kind of boring. So it developed this stripe, and you see what I mean there about the balcony ears. I'm going to build one here, actually. You will notice what I mean about balcony ears when I finish building this little ledge here. Come on past, Matt. Hurry up. You're so slow. Boo! Faster. There we go. A balcony ear. It looks really, really silly. This is the bit that stayed, though, the cross brace, which is going to hold up the rest of it. But back to that stripe. The stripe actually does serve a purpose. And it was entirely accidental when I designed the building. I will freely admit, I just thought it looked cool, and I wanted to break up the monotony of the huge white surface in the large block, but it actually gave me a place to put the door, because up until this point I hadn't actually designed the house with a door. Seems illogical, but it was working in my mind up until the point I realised I needed a door, and this was just a sort of handy coincidence. It happened to be 2 blocks wide, and I happened to need a door. This is cracked stone brick, by the way. It's a brilliant texture. I'd love to have used it more, but unfortunately it's a little overbearing when compared to the more subtle textures of the quartz and the wood. And as such, it tends to dominate a build quite quickly, so not making as much use of it as I would like, but that's just the exterior. On the interior, all bets are off. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the roof, incidentally, of this large block. It could be a balcony, a huge, what is it called? What is a rooftop balcony called? Is it just a rooftop balcony? Or is it something else? I could put a helipad up there, but no, I don't think it's that kind of rich house. Anyway, more ice time. Yay! The ice didn't actually look too bad with the cracked stone brick. Honestly, I was expecting it to look worse. It didn't. Anyway, keep on placing that ice, and I will try and regain my train of thought from earlier. I've completely forgotten. Get rid of that sign. Kind of useless. Anyway, doors. Designs vary for this. You can literally do anything. I don't have a big selection of doors because I'm in 1.7.10. I'm not using 1.8 because I'm having a few FPS issues with that, as strange as it might sound, and I'm just trying to work them out. But anyway, door design can vary. You could have quartz in it, you can have ice in it, you could have stone bricks in it, which is what I decided in the end. Just something fairly simple like that. And I think that brings the first episode of Stackhouse to a close. I'm sorry I've been rambling a lot, but that's as is the nature with post-commentary. Really, I've been trying to remember the things I was going to say, that I planned to say whilst I was building it. But never mind, it never goes smoothly. The footage will end here, but I will briefly talk about some of my other builds. The Georgian townhouse is now complete and has its own Planet Minecraft project, tongue twister, sort of, that you can visit. And the my first build, the Triple Apex house, is of course still done. And I have a small miniature build, if you haven't got much time on your hands, which is called the Contemporary Cabin, a 1 episode long build about a small but efficient cabin design. And I would appreciate it if you went and checked those out too. Have a wonderful rest of the day, rest of your night, rest of your evening, etc., etc. And I will see you in the next Stackhouse video. Goodbye.